All right, we are live. Sorry for the late start. I had some trouble trying to get this thing started, but this is the what do you call it? The after show, the Russian Yeti the Girl Lives special, which it was very similar to it was very similar to the other two specials, the Megalodon special and the Merman specials. A lot of dramatizations, probably too many dramatizations if you ask me, and also just a lot of just a lot of what I call non-reality.
Yeah.
I like to call it non-reality. And I like the parts with Meldrum, Jeff Meldrum, and Igor Burtsev and all that. But other than that, I would have loved to have seen it be much more accurate. I would have loved to, but I'm afraid that's just a losing battle, and I guess we'll just have to deal with what we've got. I am joined by our good friend Freddie Caney.
Hello.
All of you who watch the Looking for Bigfoot news hours are familiar with Freddie. Freddie also watched the special, and I had invited somebody else to come on, but they were they were throwing stuff at the television while they were watching the special. So, oh boy! But anyway. The special. The thing is, and I wrote about this on my Facebook earlier. What you're going to have at this time during this time period, you're going to have the docudrama quote unquote reality shows. And William Asmussen says TV shows about Bigfoot are done by those who don't believe it's just a job. Camera people, producers aren't interested in getting it right. Just entertain use, right or wrong. That is why people like Biscardi get free press and lie just to get time on TV. Yeah. Well, anyway, the special there was a real life incident connected with this special, and it was what they call the Dyatlov Pass incident, where a group of 9 campers were killed mysteriously, and supposedly and there's a photograph of what appears to be some tall dark object walking away. And it's speculated that maybe it was a Yeti, and that the Yeti killed these campers. So, Freddie,
Yeah.
you watched the special. What is your take on it?
Well, far as how can I put this? The guy did a good job going through the investigation part until it got to what actually provoked whatever the Yeti to attack them. By seeing lights in the sky, they might have thought it was rockets or something like that. That might have provoked the Squatch.
Yeah.
They went into the caves. They did. They heard something like it was in the tent, and he took off. He left her behind, followed that sound all the way to a second bed. Then he heard that yell again, or a whistle. Then he hauled Buddy back to the tent. Then they had to leave. But my question is, what happened between the time they went in the tent and the time they were going out? That's what gets me. That's what I was trying to look for and everything. So it was very interesting.
Well, I'm wondering how much of that was dramatized for the special. It was very similar to the Mermaids special, and also the Megalodon special, where they used a lot of dramatizations. essentially created, well, a fake environment, as it were. Well, I don't want to say environment, but they created. It was all a creation, referring to the megalodon, because you have these doctored photos of large fins and things like that, and supposedly a video showing a large creature swimming under the water and all this stuff. So, and that was all overly dramatized for television, and but I suppose that's the society we live in now, where we have these dramatized quote unquote documentaries, and Autumn Williams said it correctly a few years ago when she said we no longer have documentaries, we have reality television, and I mean that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just wondering how much of that was accurate, how much of it wasn't. And it's a bit discouraging. I mean, I want to see stuff like Monster Quest. I want to see stuff like Sasquatch Legend Meets Science, which didn't have to rely on dramatizations, over dramatizations, and things like that, and creating things out of thin air. But I suppose you can want in one hand and poop in the other and see which fills up faster.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, it was very interesting how they did stuff. I mean, he went through the process of following up in the States, then he went to Russia, and he followed up everything. But he couldn't really get anything proved until he talked to the last guy, the one who survived. And he mentioned these winter military boots, the wraparound on them. He said, hey, you found one. So why was the military there before anybody? And what did they do while they was there? My theory is they could have done that and got the hell out of Dodge before anything happened. They're the ones that might have done it, but that still doesn't explain the girl getting her eyeballs popped out and her tongue ripped out. That don't explain that,
Well, I'm just, there's no question that the incident did occur. The incident did happen. That something killed those non-campers, but what it was, and then they were college students, by the way. What it was, we don't know. I mean, it's speculated. Oh yeah, it was a Yeti, but we don't know for. Hey, look who's here! Hey, Shane.
Yes, I just want to do a quick drop in.
Now you gotta stay a while, chump.
It's a quick drop in just to announce, big announcement. I will give my thoughts and opinion on Yeti this coming Sunday on the Finding Bigfoot after show special.
Ah, okay, all right.
When does that start?
This Sunday.
The Finding Bigfoot season premiere is 1 hour. It'll start at 9 Eastern, 8 Central next Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
So it'll be 9 Eastern next Sunday on Animal Planet.
Yeah, I figured I'd do a quick drop in and make a big announcement.
Oh, gee, thanks for making your presence known. Thought you died and went somewhere else, man. Ain't heard from you.
I've just been busy. Yeah, like I said, next Sunday I'll give my thoughts and opinion on Russian Yeti on the Finding Bigfoot After Show special, which hopefully will be 10:30, because that's when it'll end.
What time?
10:30.
10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. All right.
And I got Animal Planet.
Yeah, things going all right, Shane?
Yes, they are.
Good. Who's this new chick I'm hearing you with?
And I can't disclose that information.
Oh, you silly.
All I have to say is that she's a pageant winner. All right.
Oh.
All right,
No,
so
that's
I just
good.
figured I'd do a quick
That's
drop
good.
in and fill everybody
All
in.
right, Shay.
It's the plan for Sunday. So good night, everybody.
Good night,
Later.
Shane. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Where was I? We were talking about.
I just said something about that military boot and why the
Oh,
military put
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because it does seem kind of weird. But one thing that they never mentioned, with all the military there, where was all the footprints at from the military? Think about that.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, did they sweep them all away? I mean, what the heck did they do?
They had a chopper land. You've seen the chopper.
Yeah.
You've seen them come toward some direction, but not at the tent. But they did get the tent, and they did find. Well, not, but uh, they didn't. But the original first crew, not the military, but the original crew showed up and found them all. Like they found one, two, three. They found one, two, three, four of them. But 2 months later, they found the other four
Mm-hmm.
under what, a couple feet of snow or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you know, because there's a lot of red flag. You know, even though he was doing it, he was going step by step by step by step by step. I still saw a lot of red flags, like squatches that you know and I know. The only attack that we've ever heard of was Ape Canyon. Remember? That was the only attack that I can remember of a Sasquatch. But he did say maybe, from what that sign said, they had a rocket, something, a rocket in the air or something like that, and it broke off into two. He said it's like a wild animal. You get him in the corner, he's going to attack.
Yeah. I find that interesting. Why would a wild creature attack?
Yeah, no
Someone
reason.
just because of there being these. I mean, it's very strange. It really is.
Yeah,
Why would a wild creature attack just because? Oh, wait a minute. There's a there's something going on. There's
yeah,
a there's a missile being launched into the air. I mean, it doesn't sense to me, and you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I have no idea, but
I
I
mean,
feel
Lord knows I've been wrong. Yeah, go ahead. What?
uh, like I said, man, I've seen too many damn red flags in there, and that spells Russian military
Agreed. Yes.
all the way through.
Yeah.
But he did get responses in the cave and at nighttime. They didn't get the hog shredded, but they did find a deer, I think it was. You know, they did find that when it was dark. But why all of a sudden did that guard say, "Time to get the hell out of here right now"?
Well, how do we really know that that wasn't a dramatization? Because it did say at the end that there were dramatizations going on,
Yeah, but which part?
or some of the elements were dramatized. So, but I mean, griping about that, I guess, is like griping about the excuse me, griping about the over dramatization of the show. I think it's like close the door after the cow has already gotten out. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, it's just I mean, I studied everything that they did from the beginning to the end, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what did they see? Why was the tent ripped across the top from the inside out, and why was that whole back end cut out with a knife?
Well, they could have been. I mean, they could have been cutting themselves out of there. I don't know. I mean, I'm just
But they
speculating
but they
that.
cut themselves out facing the woods. So whatever come after them had to come in from the entrance, from behind, like
Mhm.
facing the woods. They come in from behind them. If the Yeti was coming after them, wouldn't it make more sense that they go out the front door of the tent instead of the back? They might have ripped the top to see what's out there, but if it was a Yeti, why didn't they go out the front instead of running out the back toward the woods where the Yeti was at?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, it's almost as if they went the wrong way.
That's where the second red flag flew up for me.
But well, I mean, I found it interesting that that they actually referring to the they supposedly had a video of these people inside the tent freaking out and all that when the lights were going off outside, and the stuff with the supposed missile and all that.
Huh?
I mean, but it didn't. It to me, it didn't look accurate to the 1950s, late 1950s. I mean, did they have cameras like that with sound? I mean,
Uh,
the Patterson Gimlin film, that film camera had no sound on it. So I don't know how many film cameras had sound on them back then, and certainly in Russia.
well, they was using. I don't know because the video was in black and white, you know, and the way they were all running around, if that guy was running around too, wouldn't you get less picture and more scatterization, like on the ground in the snow and all that stuff? But yet the last photograph on the camera was of that Yeti. Now,
I mean,
what
listen,
what
the photos of the corpses were interesting and everything, but let me ask you, Fred, did those bodies look mutilated to you as they claimed?
well, the nose of some of them, the eyes being ripped out, the eyes with the girl with the no eyes and no tongue. The eyes I could see, the tongue I couldn't see, so I can't really tell. But that sign says to go for the eyes, the tongue, the heart, the liver, and stuff like that. You know, they said they had one guy had a split, his head was internally split. Uh,
Hmm.
guy had his rib cage screwed up, but nothing was missing out of him except for that girl.
Yeah, the bodies did not look mutilated. I mean, they looked like they looked like maybe they fell off a cliff, or I mean,
Exactly.
it just to me it didn't look right. It just didn't look right, and but I want to make a comment, and this is just a general comment. I realize that these shows are not made for us Bigfoot nerds. They're made for the general public.
Exactly.
What bothered me, and I guess as a Bigfooter it bothers me, the fact that they used the Ivan Marks videos and said
Yeah.
that those were videos taken in Russia. I looked at them and immediately recognized them as Ivan Marks' videos, taken in Alaska and taken in Washington State. And then they just added, they added the post production added the audio and the people saying mink, mink, which is what they call the Russian Yeti, I guess, over there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that jumped out at me,
Yeah. It did.
and it just bothered me. It really did. It bugged me a lot that they would do this. But I also realize that they're not making this for us Bigfoot nerds. They're making this for the general public. The general public's not going to know any better. The general public's going to be like, oh, well, that must be actual footage from Russia.
Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing. How much was cut off this show before they aired it? Being in Russia, wouldn't you think Russia would say, all right, we're going to cut this out, we're going to cut that out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that? Because if you notice during the thing, there was the spots like there was one spot, and also there was another spot. It's like they.
Well, it wasn't produced by anybody in Russia. It was an American production company.
Yeah, but the Russians
So,
would say, all right, we're going to cut this out, we're going to cut that out, due to propaganda or something.
but that's only assuming the Russians had any kind of control over the production of it, which most likely they didn't.
Well, yeah,
So,
true, but the way I'm seeing it, let's say if me and you went there and we would started making video of like in that area, and then the military got mixed up. We started going through the military things, and we started asking questions and stuff. And we make a video of it, and they say, "Wait a minute, before you leave the country, we're going to take a look at this video, and we're going to take out what we don't want people to know."
yeah.
To a point. That's my point.
Right.
And everything. So,
in other words, censorship from the government, yeah.
Exactly.
From the Russian government.
That's why I say, because there was a lot of spots that was from point A to point B. There's something in there in the middle of that was cut out because they just kept going to different places. Like like when they was in the cave. No, before that, yeah, it's when they was in the cave.
Yeah.
They went in there. Where'd the guard go? Where'd the guard go? Did he go back outside with the camera crew and sit there all night while they squat by the Yeti or something else snuck in that cave?
Thing is, was that actual? Was that an actual investigation or was that dramatization? That's my question. Was that only a drama? Was that stuff when they were in the cave? Was that stuff only dramatization being added to the show? That's the point. That's the problem. And see, the jokey public's not going to know that. They're going to be like, "Oh, well, this is this might have actually happened."
Yeah.
Jokey public's not going to realize that how fake it looks. And Freddie, when people like us who've been involved in this business, in this line of inquiry, when we've been involved in this as long as we have been, we tend to get a bit jaded after a while, and we tend to think, "Oh, come on,
exactly.
Give me a break."
Exactly.
And I think what happens is we go into watching these Bigfoot specials on television thinking, well, maybe this will finally be made for us, the Bigfooters. No, none of it is. None of these specials on television are made for us. They're made for the general public. Yeah. They're not made for the Bigfoot nerds with the posters behind them, like me. This is made for the general public. So they don't have to be accurate. That's the whole thing. That's the problem. They don't have to be accurate. Yeah. They can BS their way through it, and no one would be any the wiser.
Well, being as I'm in the woods every day, and you do your research in other ways as far as the Sasquatch, because you're a walking encyclopedia anyway. I know different things, and you know different things, but as far as this show goes, like I said, there's a lot of red flags for me, and there's a lot of red flags for you, to a certain point.
Right.
And I don't know, yeah, there's a lot of dramatization. One dramatization is, could that have been a echo? Could that have been a recording inside that cave? when he said he followed it to the second bed, because the second bed area looked identical to the first one when they first went in there with the guard. Think about it. When they went in, you had the bed area, then you had that little
Well,
teeny tape.
that howl could have been added post production.
Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
that's one thing to think about. That howl could have been added post production. It might not have been a real howl at all. It might have just been something that they added in post production for
Exactly.
dramatic purposes. You know, in other words, we got to see if here's the thing, Freddie. If they were to do this special for us, the Bigfooters, and be all scientific and be on expedition and do all this stuff,
Okay, okay.
it would be
All right.
boring.
Let's do it this way.
The general public would tune out.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's go to the show before the monsters come on. One with Dr. Meldrum in it down in Louisiana.
Uh huh.
See how they went about that as far as that boogaroo? They showed the video,
Yeah.
the actual video of that swamp, of that squatch standing there at the stump. But yet, Dr. Meldrum says it's a wolf coyote wolf hybrid. So it'd be the same difference like that squatch, like that Yeti. You know, would it have been different if Meldrum went up there and would have done this? Would it have come out the same, or would it have been different?
No, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Are you
I'm using
was Meldrum on another special discovery?
Yeah, Meldrum.
Or are you talking about that cryptid beast?
No, Meldrum had something to do with that that Yeti too. You notice it was on there showing the footprints and giving this thing up to Gigantopithecus, right? If he would have went to Russia, and let's say hypothetically he would have took the place of that reporter guy who was doing it to show tonight. Say if they swapped places, do you think it would have been the same? From what the information that this reporter and that girl got,
I think it would have been.
come on here.
I think it would have been very different. I think it would have been different. I think Meldrum would have applied more scientific inquiry into it. Of course, that would have been boring to the general public. So they had to have the dramatizations, and they had to have the people allegedly in the cave, and they had to have them find the alleged nest and all that. They had to spice it up a little bit. It would have been boring if it had been just Meldrum in there, you know, debunking, you know, all this stuff. But see, he did go to Russia in 2011.
Yeah, that's where he come on.
When they held a conference over there.
Yeah, because he did.
They held an international conference over there in 2011.
Right.
And they went to that very same cave, and they found a singular footprint that was repeated. And it was all, and Meldrum made the comment, maybe the Bigfoot likes to hopscotch because it was the same foot.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's got that.
And it was clearly hoaxed by somebody to gain tourism. It was promoting tourism in that part of the country, in that part of Russia.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about it.
But he did speak, you know, as far as the Gigantopithecus part, you know, of the Yeti, you know, is they still there? They showed a video of one come down behind the guy while he's videoing, the girl screamed, "Ah!" And the guy immediately turned around, zoomed in on him. That didn't make too much sense. Because when she screamed, he did a 360 and was dialed in right there, videotaping it.
Yeah, I mean, how or why would all of a sudden he be able to just
zoom right in,
focus right in on it?
Exactly. So, you know, there is something peculiar there, and I believe there is a Russian Yeti. Yeah. But I think they're over-dramatizing it as far as being a murderer or stuff like that, because the Yeti was not boxed in. He was not
Well,
boxed in.
there's no proof that a Russian Yeti or anything like that had anything to do with those young campers being killed. No proof at
Bingo,
all.
bingo. That's why I
There
say
is
no.
no proof.
Yeah, that's
There
why I
might
say
have been footprints, but those footprints could have been those wraparound boots you mentioned.
yeah. Could have
And
been that.
the one photograph, we don't know where the photograph came from. We don't even know if the photograph was taken at that time.
Well, he did take the photograph to some guy, and he pulled out negatives from that camera, and on that negative, it showed the exact same photograph. Everything was in proportion leading up to that photograph. So that picture was authentic of that Yeti.
But we don't know if it was a Yeti or not. It could have been a guy in a parka. That's the
I don't
only
know
thing
because
about
he
it.
didn't have no neck. He didn't have no neck. He had a
Well,
big head. You could see that.
when you're wearing a thick, heavy jacket or something like that, you will appear to have no neck.
Okay, like when Bobo and them went to that one area where the guy videotaped that squatch on the next ridge. Bobo went up there and done a comparison, and you could see, even though Bobo had stuff on trying to look exactly like the squatch and everything, you could still see at that distance. You could still see different. The neck, the head, the neck, everything. This animal kind of come like stepped out and looked, and you
Well,
could.
I have to say I'm very skeptical of that photograph. I really
Yeah, but
am.
he did have the same simulations as far as the hump in the back, like Patty, because they compared them both side by side. Patty walking from the right to the left, and then
Yeah, but you notice they didn't get Meldrum's comments on that photograph.
Meldrum said, yeah, you're right. The only one he really, no, he said, he got the put, but he said that, yeah, there possibly is a Russian Yeti.
He said there was a Russian Yeti, but he didn't. But they didn't interview him. If they did interview him about the photograph, they didn't include it in the special.
Exactly. That's why I say a lot of shit was cut out of it.
So we don't know if they asked him about the photograph or not. I mean, like I said, there's no proof that any kind of a creature like a Yeti killed those people. We don't know what killed those people. We have
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah. Because my question is, like I go back to before, if the Yeti was come after him, he would come out of the woods. Why didn't they run out the front of the tent instead of the back of the tent?
Right? Yeah.
That tells
But
me, like, but that one side says rockets did, a rocket did, or a rocket or something like that did land in that area. And as you notice what he said death would have been apparent.
yeah.
Maybe when that thing hit, they heard it, scared them, and
Yeah.
they got the hell out of Dodge. But that
But
doesn't
look,
explain.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. This special, essentially, well, it was all sensationalized, is what it was. It was sensationalism, and that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. It was sensationalism,
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like that a Russian Yeti must have killed those people.
Uh,
Listen, the Dyatlov Pass incident did happen. 9 people were killed. That is true. That is accurate.
right.
It's documented. That happened. Were they killed by a Yeti? I don't know.
They found tracks, but like you say, at the same time, if the military was there, where was their tracks? Was they there a week before or a day before that search crew went up there? They didn't say when they was up there. They said they was the first ones up there, but they didn't say when.
Well, I'm very skeptical of footprints in snow because snow can do.
I got video. I got
Snow that melts and refreezes can do funny things. They
yeah.
can make funny looking shapes.
Yeah. Now I got a photograph in a video of when I was down at the foot of Bald Mountain. A young Squatch come walking down from the top campground, come walking down the road, down the road there, and made a circle and went back up into the thickets. All right. When I went in, there was a perfect footprint, but I didn't pay attention because I was got other things on my mind. But when I come back out, the snow done melted. It done heated up and snow done melted. So I put my foot next to it. You could see my foot plain, but the other foot, you could see what looks like a footprint, but you really couldn't tell, because it's been melted and everything, So that's like the same difference, But
right,
they did.
Well, the thing is, we really don't. Here's something. Here's something I'm puzzled by. If those footprints were photographed at the very time after that incident happened, where the people were killed, then why exactly? Why exactly did I mean, we really don't know for sure those photographs were taken at that time, or if it was some kind of a or if that was also part of a dramatization. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, could that have been something that was added in to the entire incident? Oh wait, somebody gave me a link to the or somebody put a link in about this incident. Let's see if they say anything about footprints. I don't think they do. I mean, yeah, this is strange. It's a strange mystery, no question about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the tent was torn down and all this, and apparently an old pine had been snapped off up at a height of almost 15 feet, or branches of an old pine, but that could have been snowfall.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just saying. That could have been snowfall.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
but they, like I said, they found them people 2 months later under 4 foot of snow. You catch that?
Right.
They found them under 4 foot of snow.
Yeah.
But like I say, there was a lot of stuff that just didn't pan out for me. Because I was like diehard studying that whole show, and like I said, I seen a lot of red flags that did not make sense to me. Especially when they come around where they was camping out in the open there at the last part of it, where they like 2 days before they got killed. That rate from that part on is what's got me baffled.
One aspect of it that I found interesting was that there were those who thought, well, maybe it was a tribe of people called the Manzi, and these are, I guess, mountain people that live up there, and they have their own. They have their own. What do you call it? They have their own villages in that area, and they live there. And some people thought maybe they had something to do with it, but that has since been essentially, what do you call it? That has been dismissed essentially because there was no evidence of people having been there, any other people having been there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't these mountain people, these Manzi, this Manzi tribe So, so who knows? I mean, I think this case is going to be it's going to be an open case. I mean, it's been 55 years, and no, and we're any closer to solving this than we were back then. So,
Well, they said
I mean,
at the end of the show, it said it still remains unconclusive.
right, right,
So that right there tells me, they're going to do another one. Uh,
possibly,
yeah, possibly in the next 5 to 6 years, But
and
I think this time they're going to use more up to date methods.
one
But they
cool
got
thing I thought was, and I'm a bit of a comic book nerd, that the narrator of the special was a guy named Kevin Conroy, who has been the voice of Batman on various projects for over 20 years now. So I was like, oh my gosh, oh, the end credits was like, Kevin Conroy, oh my gosh. So that's kind of a crossover for me as far as, because I'm a big comic book nerd and big Batman fan, so I was like, oh wow. And I thought the voice of the narrator was familiar.
who was it?
So the name is Kevin Conroy.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a voice actor.
Oh, see, I don't get into
But
people's
anyway,
voices and stuff.
Freddie, what are your final thoughts on this special?
It was interesting, inconclusive is what I can say because, like I said, from the camp, from where they camped out in the open to the time of their death, is a red flag, one giant red flag. And I still say the Russian military had something to do with it.
Yeah, you could be right.
I think
You
the
could be
military,
right.
yeah, because nothing was threatening that Yeti. I mean, look at the miles and miles and miles of mountain woods that's there. Why did they say just that one area? It scared that squash to attack. Usually,
Hmm.
when the animal gets scared, don't they run the other direction?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well,
I can't conclude it.
one thing that one thing I have to say, as far as my final thoughts, the cool aspects were seeing Jeff Meldrum and also seeing Igor Burtsev and knowing that the narrator was Batman, Kevin Conroy.
Oh, him. Okay, okay. I know who.
Yeah, he's the voice of Batman.
Yeah,
But
okay.
other than that, I could take or leave this particular show.
Yeah.
If I were to give it a rating, I'd probably rate it about maybe a 4 out of 10. I mean that's pretty. I know that's pretty low, but that's how I feel about it. I mean 4 is pretty generous if you ask me.
I'd do three.
Yeah.
Three, that's the highest I guess. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, they, from the part where they camped out in the open to the time of their death, if a Squatch, if a Yeti would have attacked them, because as we know over here in North America, from what I've seen and from what a lot of other people have seen deer kills, don't they have chunks of them ripped off of them?
Mhm.
When you think a Yeti would rip them apart
Yeah.
instead of breaking some ribs. The only
And
other
hey.
thing I can think of is a wolf could have grabbed that tongue
Yeah.
because it was the only soft meat in the body at the time. I
Yeah.
can't figure out.
And hey, we have 3 viewers. Hello, our 3 viewers.
Yes, hello,
uh,
viewers.
I don't know, but it says we have 3 viewers. So anyway, also the 40 and Slip vodcast now has up a sort of review slash. I don't know if it's a review so much as it's a show about this case, about this about the Dyatlov Pass incident. So those of you who are interested, just go to YouTube, look for 40 and Slip Russian Yeti, and you should be able to find it. Well, that's it, Miss Ann, guys. This is part of the Looking for Bigfoot News Hour. So we're going to be back next Sunday. We're going to be doing the Finding Bigfoot After Show, as Shane mentioned when he was on. And we're going to be reviewing the season premiere of Finding Bigfoot, which is next Sunday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.
Yep.
It'll feature the Turtle Man, Ernie Brown Jr. He will be on the show.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in his neck of the woods in Kentucky. And our review will actually start at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. So, until then, y'all be good or be good at it. This has been Looking for Bigfoot News Hour Special Edition.